My name is Emmanuel Lijodi. I am a student at Tangaza University College. At the same time, apart from being a student, I am a community worker. Mimi ni mzaliwa wa Mumias, pande za Kakamega ukule, Mumias Kakamega. Huko ndo penye nimezaliwa, nimelelewa huko. I attended most of my primary at around Mumias, school called Mumias Sugar Complex. Yeah, I had a pretty childhood yangu ilikuwa nzuri naweza sema. Pia uko around Kakamega ndo the place pia I went for my high school. So my childhood experience was nice. Both parents walikuwa pale. I was raised in a family of 5. I was the last born in a family of 5. So, you know, being a last born, there's always, you know, can I call it a last born syndrome, where you expect, you know, the last born is going to get, you know, life in a bed of roses. So I was the last born, but everything was okay until around 2015 when my dad, he lost his job. So my dad was like the sole breadwinner of the home. We really depended him on much. Even my mom was there, she was really supportive, but my dad was there for us, big time. So that was really a big blow to us as a family and also to me as a person. It was a point where I just finished my class 8. I was transitioning to high school. And you know, the moment my dad lost his job, like we all went to ground zero. It was so abrupt and everything, we didn't expect it. So that's when, you know, life really started me knocking by the head. We had to move and the transition was pretty hard. I remember when it was around 2015, I just cleared my class 8. So I had really worked hard, like really hard, and I really passed my KCSE. And I was really called to some really nice school, but you know, now you're there and you've passed and you want to transition to continue getting that good life, but now it's not there and you can't. So for me that was a big blow. And you know, also being admitted to high school it wasn't that easy. And also, you know, with my dad, that condition you were in, it affected us sisi wote as a family. So throughout high school imekuwa a little bit challenging for me as a person. It was really, I really went through a lot high school. High school, it was a challenge to me, you know, kukuwa pale nyumbani, and you need a lot pale shule. You need all the support you can get. High school, you need a conducive environment kusoma, and you know, you can't get all that because the conditions mko pale, it wasn't really a good condition back at home, you know. And then one thing ilikuwa, I really suffered a lot from low self-esteem, for one, because like I said, I was the last born, but I wasn't really getting I felt I wasn't getting the best, you know. But I was never angry at my parents. I was never, sikukuwa na ile uchungu kusema wazazi wangu wanipee hii. I was never, because I was with them during that time. I was in a day school, you know. So I was with them, but I was never, sikukuwa na ile machungu kwa mzazi, unaambia mzazi, like having those thoughts, your parent is not giving you all, your parent is not making enough to you. I knew deep down they are doing their best they can to provide for me. So I still hold, nilikuwa na bado ile upendo, ile heshima nilikuwa nayo kwa, it was of the highest order. Despite the fact everything we were going through, I wasn't really putting the blame on them. Even though I really suffered a lot, especially self-esteem issues, it really affected my performance throughout. Yeah, I wasn't really performing. Even I remember, ikifika the time during KCSE, I was just cocksure that hapa mia asiendi kufuata kitu. I just knew hapa it was all gonna go to the mud. But you know, God did his thing, and I was able to at least nilipita KCP yangu. I got a C+. At least that's everyone's dream, you know, to at least get that to be able to proceed to the campus. So, like I said, self-esteem for me was a big issue. I wasn't really confident with myself a lot. I didn't believe in myself much. So, my way out, I think, I really found peace in my father. During my first year, I was in a place where I couldn't talk to anyone, but when I was around in Form 2 Apple, that's when I realized that I actually had someone who can actually be there for me, that like I didn't have to outsource that support from anywhere. I had my father with me, and so for me he was, I think for a big part, he was a part of me that helped me get through that phase where I wasn't, as a kid, I wasn't really mentally okay. So my father really played a big role. I can say he was my best friend for a long period of time. Mpaka sai, he still is. So, and also, you know, God, you know, I became prayerful. I think that's where a point where I felt I needed divine intervention. So I really relied on God much. I started becoming prayerful, and so I think that was the point for me why I was able, at least when I was finishing, by the time I was finishing Form 4, the solid relationship I had built with my dad was a foundation for me to know that whatever I'm going through, I always have someone to back me up. For once, so after I finished Form 4, you know, they're usually getting results. Then for us, unangoja COOPs. I think there's that process where you wait for, you apply, and then you're going to get posted somewhere. So at first, you know, I got a C+, and I wasn't sure of what I was really going to do. I wasn't sure. So I went and we did an application for the COOPs, and then we were to wait, we see where I was going to be placed. Then from there we knew the decision we were going to make. But deep down, I remember we just knew that, you know, as much as you umepita mtihani or to join a university, we were like, it won't be possible with the current financial status we were in. I remember we had lost hope. No. So a few months in, apply. By then I was staying at my sister's. After the holidays, Form 4, I was staying with my sister. So we were there, and it came in. I was called at Tangaza University College, and I'm doing the course in Meito. It's called a Bachelor of Arts in Sustainable Human Development. So, you know, the first instance you get was like, Tangaza University. This is something that is not mainstream. Not everyone has heard of it the same way watu wamesikia kuhusu University of Nairobi or KU. So we were like, Tangaza, ini. Then, you know, the first thing when you do when you have a problem, to Google. So we were like, okay, let's Google. Google, the first thing we saw, my dad saw, was like, it's a private university. And I was like, private university? No way you're going there. See, there was that notion that, you know, private universities are very, very expensive. And like, so Aliona, it's a private university. Akasema, ai, hapa hatuwezi toboa, liwe liwalo, there is no way you're going there. Alafu pia kuangalia the program umeitwa, it's Sustainable Human Development. Like, ini umaisikia kitu kama hii, so like hata ukienda kutafuta kazi, utaenda kwa ofisi ukisema umefanya Sustainable Human Development. So we had like given up, and we just said, let it be, and we were actually looking for, you know, other alternatives. So they were like, you'll find something to do. We can enroll you maybe in a small college, start there. So again, I wasn't really, it was something daunting for me, because I felt I needed to go and see what's this, because I know God had placed me there at that Tangaza, and I was like, I needed to maybe see what was up. So there was a day I was with my sister, and now she was going through the Tangaza page, and that's when she bumped into the fee structures, like there's an option for the COOP students, like you're not going to pay like the normal student if you are government sponsored. That's when we knew, oh, so maybe we can make arrangements for these fees. So that's when we started making calls with the administration to Tangaza. Even though now we were saying, okay, now that we've known the fee is something that is actually manageable, but still we were not in a state where maybe we could manage. So my dad sat me down, like, we've seen the fee, but even though it's something we might only be able to pay, say for the first semester, we can be able to do a fundraising up at home, get you some cash, and you can be able to enroll. But now kuendelea huko mbele, hiyo itakuwa shida sana, unaona. But then my dad was confident we'd be there, and I remember there was one person, his name is Dr. Peter Kimuru. He was someone really instrumental from Tangaza. So he supported us throughout with the enrollment and everything. So they were really keeping tabs with my dad, kumwambia, hey, just bring the kid and we will see how he's going to learn, where I'm later. So at that point, my dad was, through the help of Dr. Peter, thanks to him, I was now able to join Tangaza and actually do a program in sustainable human development. So getting there, that's when I came to know that sustainable human development is something actual, that something good that someone can actually do. I came to learn a lot. One thing that after getting into that program, that's when I knew that sometimes when you hear of something, it's not always good to kusema naachana nayo. It's always good kwenda pale na unajua, you give it a try. You never know what's in there. I came to discover that actually this is one of a very good program for me, because it deals with the matters, community, social transformation, advocacy. It's about, how we can create practical people who can actually go out there and make a difference in the society. So I was at a point I thought, me personally, I've not had a smooth life, but at a point I thought, now this is something I can actually do, to actually go out there in the society and do something that you can be able to do in actually change someone's life through a model that is very holistic, social transformation. So with time, this course that I was called to do, sustainable human development, and ESG, I actually fell in love with it, and it was really nice. I really worked hard, and by the mid of the first semester, I actually got a scholarship from Tangaza University. So for me, that was a motivating factor to me. The school had offered me a scholarship so that I can continue with my education there without, unajua, we had said, like I said earlier, unajua, mzazi alikuwa amesema hapo kupata fee itakuwa noma manze, but sasa kufika hapo unaona Mungu amekufungulia njia na kuambia hapa you're in the right place, nitaka uendelee kusoma. So for me, I got a scholarship from there. It was around the mid of the first semester. Up to the time sahi, I'm in my final year namaliza, Tangaza has sponsored me, and I've been sijalipa fee and for a long time throughout my entire learning session there. The school has sponsored me, so by a big margin, it has been a pillar of growth for me, a pillar of motivation, and also something I can actually rely on. I really got the motivation to do community work because the moment I was placed at Tangaza and doing something called sustainable human development, this is something you will mostly work with people. Like I said, social transformation. It's about transforming the society in a holistic manner. So at that point, I really met lots of people who are actually doing something nice to the society. And that's when it dawned on me that that was actually a calling. I felt I needed to actually do something for the society, regardless of anything. In my own small way, whatever I'm doing, I make sure what I'm doing, in one way or another, I'm changing someone's life, or I'm putting a smile on someone's face. So I remember I was doing in our own small way, pale, just trying, can I say, some sort of awareness in Madare. I was with a friend of mine called Bonnie. It was around in 2021. That's when we had an encounter with it's a school in Madare Primary. Okay, so first we went there for a field work, and then we actually liked the place. It is in the slum areas. It's a school that is providing education to the slum children, and also it is doing something to help with the street kids, the street families there. So that was our, I can say, our insertion point, and also my insertion point. I was with a friend. So that's when we started our first ever community work. So we were dealing there, we were as social workers in that school, where we were with kids, seeing how we can now offer them some mental support, because, you know, there's a lot of challenges in education for children, especially in the slum areas. If you actually insert yourself in the community and get to know the conditions the children go through, it's actually a pity. And we need people to be there that can actually do something to help these kids in order for them to see that, you know, there's something greater than this, there's something great you're doing. So we put ourselves in that situation where we are social workers acting as mentors in that institution, and it was a really nice experience. We worked there for some time, for at least 3 months. Even after those 3 months, we continued. I remember we were doing, it was a feeding program. We were involved on Sundays, where we gather the street children somewhere, and then we offer them some food, something to keep them up, and also sort of offering them some, you know, some mental health support, talking to them. So for me, I felt that was an insertion point for me to working with the society, and with that, I was now able to become open-minded and realize that, you know, there are actually what we call minority people in the society that actually need people to be there for them. Even if it's someone just to talk to, any help you can do to them, it's really important in your own small way as a human being to do something that actually creates an impact. So for me, that was my initial point and motivating factor. So in kuendelea, I also, in my community, I interacted with a group around Kawangware. It's called Dagoretti Social Justice Center. That was my second encounter, not my second encounter actually, with the community, despite the Madare. We're still working, but then this was a group that was actually dealing with prison reform. So now for me, now this was something that was really huge. I dealt largely with them, because I realized the prisoners are a group that have actually been neglected because of the societal mindset we have about prisoners, I know, and also access to justice in the community, you know. So when I met this group, I remember there was someone called Mali, Wanaina Kamau. He was my mentor. I remember another one was called Carol Nganga. She was giving a talk about justice in the society, because she runs an NGO that you know, gives justice to the society. So I also got motivated and wanted to see, in my own small way, how can I get involved in these activities that is meant to help this minority group, you know, the prisoners. So I got largely involved with the group, the Dagoretti Social Justice Center. So we've been dealing largely with the communities around Kawangware, Dagoretti. We are trying to see how we can be able to reduce crime in the society, give people access to justice, and also we have lots of people who are straight from prison, and they can't reintegrate themselves back to the society. So we see how we can be able to give these people mentorship for them to be able to get back to the society. So we've been dealing with them, doing prison visitations, legal health clinics in the society, and also giving people representation in the courts, because you find there's really a lot going on in the justice sector in Kenya that, you know, the normal mwananchi is not aware of. So we are here and we see what can we do in order to inform the citizen that you know, these are your human rights. When you go to court, you're supposed to do 1, 2, 3, you know, because, you know, for one, there are people, this we call petty crimes, where you find unapata mtu like he's snatched someone's phone, and then this guy has to amepewa bail of, let me say, around 10,000 or something, but he can't afford this bail because unajua life imempush to the limit. He can't really afford to get this money. So we see what can we do to help this person in order to tumtoe pale ndani inda, na pia tumweze kumsaidia a reform so that he does not go back to the illegal life ya crime. So we've been trying to get alternative systems of justice in order to kupunguza wale wasee wetu manze, wasee kwa community wasishinde tunapoteza mayouth wakiingia ndani. Hatutaki kupoteza mayouth, tunataka wa mayouth wakuwe something yenye society can use actually for good. It's not every day that we want to see our youth. Kila siku we find kuna youth ameenda ndani, ameenda nani. We are trying to reduce the number because at this point unaona the prisoners zimekuwa full. Unapata there are prisons in Kenya, unapata wafungwa wana share, they are actually sharing a bed, unaona. So we are trying to see what alternative systems of justice can we put that, so that we might also be able to bring the whole aspect of social transformation in the society. So like I've said, that's what largely I've been dealing with. Even up to date, we are still working with them closely. We see what we can do in order to actually change the narrative when it comes, we are talking about, you know, justice. Unaona, hatutaki kuwe also trying to bridge the gap between, you know, the administrative system and the people. Unapatanga wase ukisikia msee anaona karawa anakuja, unaona karawa anakuja, una feel mimi nitaka kujitoa, watu wanaogopa makarawa. So you see how can we get these people wajue pia you can actually interact with them and also see, you know, basically how can we change the society so that we have a just society, a society that is also free of crime. So largely that's what we've been doing, and also, like I've said, advocating for prisoners' welfare. We see people in prison and both people who are out of prison, how can we help them? Tunaweza wasaidiaje in our own small way. I remember so working with communities, first of all, I'm largely involved with the community around Kawangware. That's where I largely involve myself with that community around, see what I personally can do, because there are a couple of people doing something to change, so I join them and see what I can do. So apart from working with the prison society, the prisoners and the prison group, the Dagoretti Social Justice Center, up around Kawangware, there's also another organization that you know, deals with children peer. So I got an encounter in one of the community meetings. I met someone, his name is Buken, who approached me. You know, amongst my many skills, I also have a skill of being an artist, you see. I can actually draw, and I also do paint. So he had seen some of my works, my artworks, and he was like, can you come, I have a group, I have children somewhere, and I feel you can use this art unafanya hapa to actually create a change. Then I was like, okay, tell me more. Akaniambia, you can actually come, use your art, train kids with it, and see how you can also use this art to communicate something. So I was like, okay, now this is good. Two things that I have passion about zimepatana. One, I'm going to be dealing with a community, children. Then second, you know, my passion for art, it's coming up, and I was like, okay, now let me go see this. So we went there, and we made arrangements with him. I agreed to volunteer there and teach the kids, tutor them art, and also, you know, they have something they call an after-school program where after children wametoka jioni shule, they try to see how they can help these children wafanye homework pale mbio wakitoka shule 5. So I also got involved in that program with, you know, helping the children. So this was something I found passion in it, because when passion and two passions in a meet, that's something that was actually nice for me. So that's when it got the calling on me that actually working with communities or social work, it could be something that you can actually do for the society. Unajua. So that was a breaking point, so a breakthrough point for me. So I've largely been dealing with that even up to the moment. During the weekends, I still go there on Friday, on Saturday, and sometimes on Sunday. I go there with the kids and see how we can actually get involved and see how we can actually change the kids. Also currently, I've also been working on the areas around environment conservation, seeing how we can be able to get the youth to actually be stewards, you know, of environment. So currently that's the project I'm dealing with. We're looking at how we can get actually the youth to be involved in environmental conservation issues, getting them into small groups and actually designing programs and activities towards environment conservation. So that's what I'm currently dealing with, and I'm working largely with my school, Tangaza University. So one challenge, unajua, obvious, you know, some financial constraints here imekuwa issue, you know, the commuting here and there and resources, but all through, God has been faithful. I've been able to get support from people, from my siblings, my parents. Kuna hizo challenges, the resources has been a challenge, but I've been able to maneuver. Also, you know, dealing with new communities, sometimes it's been a challenge having to getting yourself, you know, inserted and actually getting to understand those people. Sometimes it's a challenge to inserting yourself in the realities of people before actually working with them. It's been something that it's been a challenge, because sometimes unajipata in situation where someone is really going through a lot, and it takes time for you to actually, you know, get yourself into that situation, be able to understand that person and see how in your own small way you can be able to help. But I thank God, despite those few challenges, I've been able to actually to make change in the community in my own small way, and I thank God for everything. Imekuwa challenges also, pia unapata as much as challenges zinakuja, pia kuna milango zinafunguka. What I can tell, not just young people, but everyone as a whole, it's that you know, there's always something out there for you, and it's always good to take that first step in everything. It doesn't matter if they bring you something and it's a total stranger to you. Just go give it a try. You never know what, you know, God has put in that thing yenye you want, maybe unataka kuachana nayo. Ni vizuri sana hiyo kitu umepewa mahali, ende ujaribu uone. Unajua, alafu pia nazambia say it's always good, whatever thing uko nayo, it's always important kuona how can you use that talent, not just for yourself, but also in your own small way. Hiyo kitu uko nayo unaweza fanyaje in order to also to change someone's life, or even to just put a smile on someone's face, unaona? Because for me that has been the biggest lesson for me. Like in everything I do, I aim, how is this going to impact someone? Hii tunafanya hapa, will it make someone smile? If it will, then I'll do it. But unaona, kama inaenda kudhuru mtu, again you relook. So I would love to also tell people, man, it's always important to know that you know, we as human beings, we are connected. Kitu kufanyikia wewe, kitu kifanyikia mwenzako, in one or another itakuja kukuaffect. So it's always important to realize that as a people we are connected. Shida yangu ni shida yako. So ni vizuri tukikuwa na ile spirit ya undugu, you know, that's the spirit of actually living as a community.